Hi, Mel Wyndham here, and welcome to episode 4 of Mel at the Piano. Are you ready for some more happy keys? Well, today I'd like to make a special announcement, and well, before I get to that, also today I wanted to highlight a couple of pieces that we're selling through Melkim Publishing. That's my publishing company, and every now and then I'll play some samples of the pieces that we sell, and today is going to be 2 pieces, and I hope you like it. So, okay, big announcement. Some of you know this already, but later on this year I'm going to have my first orchestral performance. One of my pieces will be played in a moderately large city, a symphony and choir and orchestra, timpani and everything. Boom, 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 boom. And let's see. And I'll give you more details. They're still ironing out the season, and details will be out shortly. But and the piece is a well-known hymn in my church. It's "Come, Come, Ye Saints," and it all started with a piano piece. Well, it really started when, let's see, it was a few years ago when I first decided that I needed to publish my music. I would go to Jackman Music and check out what are your requirements to submit music for publishing. And one thing struck out is I bet if you go to the website now, it still says this. It says, we do not need any more Joseph Smith's First Vision or what's that? Oh, Come, Come, Ye Saints. They say, we have enough of those. Don't give us any more. Just do not submit them. And then of course, me being the person that I am, I took that as a challenge to write something awesome. So I wrote the piano piece. This was years ago. And then I added choir to it, a 7-voice choir. And the funny thing is, I was going to make it easy, but then as I was composing, 4 voices wasn't enough to capture what I was going for. And as I was sitting there, I'm like, the women have to break up into 4 voices. I'm like, that makes it harder. And a voice told me, if that's what you want, you just write it. And so, well, the basses, or the men, they're only split into 3 voices. But yeah, so we have 7 voices all singing at the same time. And one of my favorite parts is, let's see, right here near the end where they say, da 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 da. I have all 7 voices breaking up like this. Ah! Oh well, I guess I don't have that memorized as much as I thought I did. And I forgot, I need to hit record here. Record. Okay. So, okay. So, then I decided to do it for orchestra. I submitted it to someone looking for pieces to play, and he said, yes, let's do this. And I think what makes it the biggest success is I use text painting in this composition. I tried to capture the idea of pioneers crossing the states. The first verse of the hymn is about them, you can hear them walking, doot, 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 we're walking, walking, walking. And the second verse is about the tribulations that they find on the way and how they overcome those. So you can kind of hear some of the pain and anguish and overcoming. The third verse mentions we're going to a far away place, out in the west. And so you can hear in the distance, you can hear this like heavenly land that we're headed towards. And the fourth verse, now that's about the death and survival, so you can hear people dying. So, so let's see how this goes. Of course, this is one of these pieces I can play until I get nervous. But here goes nothing. I like how at the very end, after all those things that the pioneers go through, they get right back onto walking. And yeah, that was probably the worst I played that one. I don't know what it is. I need to overcome this nervousness. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing this live. So it happens less often. But I think you get the gist of it. And it's going to sound even better with the orchestra because I get to add more instruments and bring out these ideas. And I should throw in my plug for the company that I created. It's now 7 years old. We got music for church, we got classical music, we got different kinds of music, and I'm trying to grow the catalog. And if you watch this video here, since I'm editing it, you should see something pop up here. That video, I provide a tour of Melkim Publishing, and you can watch me put together a book. So give that a watch. And okay, so now let me tell you about the next song that I'm playing. This is, well, first let me say one of my goals is to help bring composers, other composers, not just me, but other ones, into the light so that people can see their music and help them to become more discovered. And this person that I'm talking about, it was already a well-known composer in the Latter-day Saint, the LDS music scene. His name is Dan Carter, and let's see. Now he composed, it was like more in the 70s through the 90s when his music became popular. One of his most popular pieces is a song called Shine For Me, Star of Bethlehem, and it's produced by Universe Publishers. I'll just play a little piece so that you might recognize this tune. Let's see. Okay, that's from, or if you've heard this before, then you would have recognized that tune. And we sang this in a choir a long time ago. When was this published? 82? Yeah, I think this was late 80s we sang that when I first got exposed to him. Oh, first, oh no, let me finish this. Well, let me just keep going. I'm also learning how to speak off the cuff, so I'm working on that. And the other thing he's most famous for is this hymn. It's 169 in the hymn book, As Now We Take the Sacrament. I'll play a little bit of that. Da-da. Okay, and that's just two samples of the type of music that he creates. And what I like about his music, is that it's different. It's not your traditional melodies and harmonies. He's throwing in new ideas, like this part right here where it goes, he has some parallel fourth action there to bring out a certain sound. And I'm like, who in the world would do that? Well, Dan Carter did, and he does it to good effect. And the chords, they're jazzy chords in there. And this is a hymn. Let's see. You have that jazzy chord. Let's see, another jazzy chord. And they're all over the place. And get this, he even has a chord near the end that has a minor second, which, get this. And that the editor of the hymnal wanted to change that to a D flat. But Dan Carter, he said, no, it needs to be a minor second. It's like, I don't know what it is about church music, but they hate that minor second. Maybe they think the devil's in there or something. But he wasn't afraid to take on new harmonic ideas. And even that minor second, that's not really a modern thing. It's modern to my church, I guess. I'm so happy that he was able to convince the editor to leave that natural in there. Okay, so now, why am I talking about Dan Carter? It was funny, a few years ago, I put out a recording of my first Noel for women's choir, and that's available for free at Melkim Publishing, so you can check that out. And I put it up on one of the boards, and then this person named Dan Carter responded and said, I really like your piece. And I was like, I said, wait a minute. Is this another Dan Carter? I looked it up and who he was, and no, it was the Dan Carter. This is the Bethlehem, Star Bethlehem person. And I'm like, ah! And so I had this idea, why not just reach out to him and see if I could collaborate with him? And I was surprised he said yes. and I'm skipping a lot of details in there, but I think we've become really good friends. And I asked, can I publish some of your music? And he said yes. And some of you might know his Guiding Star song. You can get that from Melkim Publishing. I don't think anybody else sells that. And let me see. Let me do a little bit of that Guiding Star. Let's see if you might recognize this. As with gladness mine oh, here we go. That's the one part most people probably recognize, if you've heard it before. See, that's another thing. It's like some people know his music, but there still remains a large group of people that don't know his music. And I would like to help. Listen to this composer. He's got something to say. and that's why I'm publishing this music, and there are other composers that I'll showcase in later episodes. And sometimes it feels like an uphill battle because, in my church, music sold well back in the 1990s, but then it's like around the year 2000, 2002, I think it was. The LDS music scene it basically tanked. I think I know why. I'll cover that later, but and a lot of these composers that did well, they just don't do so well anymore. Even big names like Janice Cat Perry, well, I'll talk about that later. Today it's Dan Carter. And this time I want to play one of his pieces. This is a piece of classical music that he wrote. It's called Little Sonata in C, and subtitle Summer 1989 Descriptions of My Son Michael at Age 2. And he has a story to share with this. It's a 3-movement piece, and you can go to melkimpublishing.com. I'll put a link in the description as to where you can read his words about this piece, why he wrote it. And basically it's him looking at his son Michael. He's playing, he's going everywhere, going crazy. The first movement is called Happy Imp. So it's, he's going everywhere, being crazy. The second one's called a nap, so I guess he's sleeping in that one. And the last movement is at play. And again, it's just being playful. I guess the imp one, he's like tearing everything up. Or at least it sounds like it. Okay, and I hope I don't do too poorly on this. I hope I play it well enough so that you get the gist. Okay, here we go. Missed that last little sharp there. Okay. Well, I got most of it there. And if you go to my website, I'll put a link to where you can buy that sheet music. And there's a much cleaner recording. When I'm not live, I don't make that many mistakes. I don't know why. It's that nervousness thing. And okay, well, let's see. I'll probably be taking a break the next week or two. This next one that I have planned requires a little setup. I'm going to try something new and different. But, well, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time on Mel at the Piano.